So hello everyone, welcome back to class number 25, and guys, you have to listen to me because this is one of the most important classes that you ever listen to, right? Because most of you, like almost 50, 60, 70% of you have just started editing, and though your normal concepts are good, a lot of people still are making some of the minor mistakes, right, while editing. And we'll discuss about all of those mistakes, we'll discuss about all of those things which you can do great, and that we'll exactly discuss about what is the main thing that you have to focus while you're editing videos, right? So with that being said, let's get started. My name is Tharun. Video editing has changed my life, and it can change yours too. You know, Tharun speaks quality, quantity. So hello everyone, welcome back, and in this class we are going to discuss about the edit psychology, right? First things first, before we actually discuss about the edit psychology and all of those things, we'll actually see what makes a good video. Like, what does a good video like comprise upon, right? What are the factors which are present in a good video, right? The first thing, as we all know, is the story, right? How good the storyline is, right? Basically, we came across a 3-part narrative in the course, if you remember. Right? What is the 3-part narrative? Try to recollect it, right? So the first one is the story itself, right? And then comes how well is the audio, how well is the A-roll, how well is the person who is actually making the video delivering the content, right? So that comes the second thing, which is video delivery, which is also very important in a normal talking head wala video, right? And then comes our most important thing, branch or the aspect, which is the video editing, right? And then there are so many other things which also go in a good video, right? But what we'll exactly focus upon this class is not the story, is not video delivery, and is not the other things. What we'll exactly discuss is the video editing aspect. What can you do better, right? So my question to you right now is, in a video, right, when you see it from a video editing point of view, what are the different factors, and even before that, why do we even edit videos? Simple question. Why do we edit videos? The simplest answer can be to make the video better. Why do we make videos better? Because we want the audience to be hooked into the scene. We want the audience to love the scene. We want the audience to be retained throughout the video, which means we edit videos for retention, right? Because we want people to not feel bored at any point of time. We want people to be attracted to our videos. We want to impress people. We want them to feel the story, right? That's how brands sell hell lot of things, right? That's how we create that brand, right? We create brand through storytelling, and the best part of storytelling or the best part of the video is the retention part. So how do we edit for retention is the entire edit psychology, right? What are the different aspects which go into the retention part is the edit psychology, right? First thing is the story. Story should be very good. So even if the story is okay, we can still make audience retain to a video by video editing. Okay? बहुत ज़्यादा ज्ञान हो गया. Now let's actually talk about different aspects of video editing which result in retention, right? So the first one is the pacing of a video, right? So I have to tell you, a lot of beginners make mistakes in these things, right? The first one is when you actually get an entire video to edit, right? Some people don't actually do the rough cuts properly, right? So the first step is you nail the rough cuts. How do you nail the rough cuts? You use normal cuts, you use jump cuts, you use L cuts, J cuts, all of these cuts. Use different type of cuts. Just make the flow, right? Pacing mein, the flow should be great, right? That is one thing that you need to focus upon, right? Rough cuts are the foundation for the entire edit, right? And then comes the second part. How do you do the rough cuts? You do the rough cuts through story alignment. What is it? You do the rough cuts through story alignment. What is the story that you have to tell? What are the parts present in the story, right? Once you know what are the parts present inside a story, you'll be able to do the pacing better, because you'll know, acha, from this point to this part, this is one emotion ka story, right? Emotion number 1. From this part to this part, emotion number 2. This part to this part, emotion number 3. You do rough cuts really well over here. You do rough cuts really well over here. You do rough cuts really well over here. You give spacing for people to breathe between different type of emotions in a video. Right? So just, you also need to focus ki speed is not the only thing. You also need to give gaps for people to actually understand and feel what's there in a video. Right? Do the rough cuts really well for an emotion and give spaces between the emotion. Right? See, every single thing which I'm telling in this video is to be a gold. It is gold information. Right? Just focus on this class a lot. Right? Now comes the next part. What else is the pacing of the edit? Right? First ho gaya normal rough cuts ho gaya, then you story align based upon the emotions present in the scene, right? And then comes the spacing and the gaps between different scenes, right? You need to give gaps in order to give that feeling, in order to give time for people to feel your video, right? So just correct this thing, right? If you are still making mistakes in your rough cuts, watch the video on how do we do the cuts, how do we pace a video, and then come back, do your rough cuts properly, do your pacing really well, right? Now comes the second aspect, which is the audio, right? As you might have already known, that audio is one of the most important factors, most important information, most important things in a video, right? What do you do in audio? The first thing is, whatever A-roll ko audio is there, right? The main audio is there, right? You make it podcast type ko audio. You make it very crisp. You use parametric equalizer on it. Most of you people, most of you, like at least 50% of the people are still not doing it. I don't know why they're not doing it. Use parametric equalizer. Use denoise to remove all the background noise and make it look good, right? Audio should be very pleasing to listen. It shouldn't be irritating. It shouldn't be like mosquitoes in your ear or houseflies near your ear, right? Make audio crisp, right? This is the second thing. Now, the second part of this audio comes to audio levels, right? You need to understand what is the most important aspect. The most important aspect is the main story, right? So keep the main story at least 5 decibels more, 5 to 10 decibels more, dB more than the music layer or SFX layer. Like if you actually overdo the music, if you actually increase the music layer a lot, right? What happens is people won't be able to listen to the actual story itself, man. What's the point of entire edit, right? So still a lot of you guys are making mistakes in this. I want you to work on this part and correct it as soon as possible, right? Then comes our third part, which is our music selection, right? So as I again told you, there'll be different sections in the same video, right? The entire story will have different emotions out of it. This might be emotion number 1. This might be emotion number 2. This might be neutral emotion. This might be emotion number 3, right? Use music at different parts, different musics at different parts. That's the key, right? And the levels of this music in individual parts is also important. Level 1, level 2, level 3. And also, how do you integrate first music to the second music? How do you integrate the second music to the third music, right? There's something called exponential fade. Use this to actually fade out. Just like cross dissolve, right? There's something called constant power. There's something called constant gain, right? Use these filters. Go to FX panel and use these filters in order to merge two audios, right? In order to merge two musics, in order to create a transition between musics. If you're not able to still do it, then pair it up with some SFX, right? So basically music 1 will be going on, music 2 will be going on. When you'll have to make a transition between these two musics, use a SFX like swoosh or whoosh or any other sound, right? Use these things. Use different kinds of music at different parts of the time, right? This is the key. Like if you can nail these 3 parts also, right? The first pacing wala part, then comes our audio wala part, then comes our music wala part. Even if you can do these things properly, your video would be better than 95% of the people who normally edit videos, right? And also make sure that the music layer is not so high. You need audience to focus on the main story, right? What is the main story? You need audience to focus on the main story, right? Just have your music layers, just have your SFX layers in a similar fashion, right? And then comes our next important things which I love, which is data representation. For example, imagine you have a sentence like 5 students won elections this time. 7 students won elections last year. 8 students won elections the previous year, right? So instead of just mentioning this number while I'm talking on the screen, 5, 7, 8, a better way can be like represent the data properly, right? Imagine this is the scene. You are here, you have number 2018, 5 students. 2019, 2020, right? Represent the data properly. 5 students, 8 students, 10 students, what is it? Data representation is the key, right? And also how well you design this data representation is the next biggest factor, right? Data representation is much more important than the next part, which is design, right? Talking about design, I'm telling you, first thing, focus on data representation, and then this leads to our next thing. How well can you design this part depends upon the design, right? One of the best things that I really want you to do when it comes to design is take inspiration. Taking inspiration is the key in order to get good design, right? Watch Netflix documentaries, watch your favorite creators, watch my videos, watch any other things, right? Watch Netflix and see how are they representing a particular data, right? What are the fonts that they are using? What are the colors that they are using, right? And not just this, also go to design websites like Canva or maybe Dribble, right? Or maybe websites, right? Any websites which, or even like Pinterest, right? Just see how other people have designed stuff, right? Some people use good fonts, some people use good colors. See how well they have been combining all these things in order to create a very pleasant design, right? If you can do this, if you can take inspiration and data represent well, right, your videos will be much better than 99% of the people who edit videos, right? And now comes the next part, which a lot of you guys are doing good, but a lot of you guys are also making mistakes in, which is SFX, the sound effects. I know a lot of you people are doing good, but here one of the biggest problems is that there are 2 problems. The first one is SFX ka levels, right? And second thing is SFX ka duration, right? When I talk about SFX levels, first comes your audio layer, right? And then comes your music layer, and then comes your SFX layers, right? So what exactly happens is that audio should be something around 0 decibels, which means music layer should be something around 5 decibels to minus 10 decibels, right? And SFX layer should also be something around minus 5 decibels to minus 10 decibels. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is the audio levels should be higher, and then comes our music layers paired up with SFX layers, right? Focus on what's more important. That is the key, right? So again, talking about this thing, okay, focus on what's more important. Even here in data representation, you should focus on what's more important, right? Imagine I'm selling a course, right? So I would want the buy wala button to be bigger. It should be more predominant, right? So align your data representation and design in a way that people would be able to see this buy wala thing better, right? Got it? So now the next thing is that the transitions. Transitions, they are important, but not as important as story, not as important as the pacing, not as important as music, not as important as audio levels or audio chobia, right? So these are important, but here you need to have like a perfect balance. Use transitions, but don't overdo them. Whenever you're using transitions, pair it up with SFX, right? In order to make it much better, right? So every single time that you edit a new video, these are some 7 things that I really want you to focus on, right? Just focus on these 7 things and always edit for retention, right? We have already discussed about this thing called video ka pacing ka, curves, right? Basically, if you're having like a fast curve, like imagine beginning of the video, you started with a fast pace, then slow it down, let people feel it, right? And then speed it up, right? And then speed it up and then slow it down. So this is how you need to pace your video, right? Don't make the entire video fast. Don't make the entire video very slow. You should always have these kind of things, right? So let people feel your video. And also these 7 things, these are the key in order to get like a great video, right? Just focus on these things. I'm telling you again and again, these 7 things, you should do them well. This is a must for any video, right? So I I believe that, if you can nail these aspects, you can actually get out a really good video which will be better than 99% of the videos which are there on internet right now, right? So with that being said, focus, man. Focus on the retention part, right? So I'll see you in the next class. Bye bye. Thank you so much for watching. 7 key things for the edit psychology. These are the most important things that you need to focus on. Bye bye. Thank you so much.